My girlfriend called me totally replaceable while I paid for everything, but when I discovered she cheated for 4 months with a manager, I kicked her out and her lover dumped her when he found out she lived with me. Now she's begging and says I ruined her life. I'm 28 years old, I work in finance, and until a few months ago I thought I had my life pretty well put together. You know, like house of my own, stable job, serious relationship of 2 years. But it turns out I was living in a huge lie and I hadn't realized it. I mean, there were signs, but I was ignoring them because, I don't know. I guess when you want something to work, you convince yourself that everything's fine, even when it clearly isn't. The thing is that what happened with Jessica basically made me rethink everything. And now looking back, I see how much of an idiot I was. But I also see that it was the best thing that could have happened to me. I met Jessica like 2.5 years ago at a gathering with mutual friends. She was 24 at the time, studying business administration at university, and honestly, at first everything was great. She was fun, smart, ambitious, or at least that's what it seemed like. We started dating, and after like a year of being together, she suggested moving in with me because she was paying rent, and I had this house I'd bought a couple years before, like 3 bedrooms, yard, the whole thing. I thought, well, we've been together a year. Things are going well, it makes sense, right? Plus, she was still in school and I was making good money, so I told her not to worry about paying rent or anything, to focus on her studies, and when she graduated, we'd figure out how to split expenses. Basically, I paid for everything. The mortgage, utilities, food, even gave her money for her personal stuff because, well, she was my girlfriend and I wanted to help her. The first 6 months of living together were fine. I mean, normal, I guess. We worked on our routines, cooked together sometimes, watched shows, the typical couple stuff when you live together. But then weird things started happening. Jessica started going out way more often with her friends, like 3 or 4 nights a week. And when I'd ask her what she'd done or who she'd been with, she'd get super defensive. She'd say things like, "I need my space. You can't control me. Trust me." That kind of stuff that in retrospect were huge red flags, but that I interpreted as, well, she has a right to go out with her friends. I'm not going to be that jealous and controlling boyfriend. She also started being glued to her phone all the time. Literally all the time. Before she'd leave her cell phone around, no problem. But suddenly she'd take it even to the bathroom, always put it face down. And if she got a message when we were together, she'd check it but in a way where I couldn't see the screen. When I'd ask her who was texting her so much, she'd say her mom, her friends, school groups. I wanted to believe her. I really did. Because I loved her and didn't want to be paranoid. But something in my gut told me that something wasn't right. And then the comment happened. God, my blood still boils when I think about it. We were in the living room on a Sunday afternoon. I was watching a game, and she was on her laptop supposedly doing homework. Out of nowhere, she says, "You know, Daniel, sometimes I think you're totally replaceable." Just like that, without any context, without us arguing or anything. I froze. Like, what did you just say? And she continued. Like it was nothing. There are literally thousands of men who would die to be with me. Men with better jobs, who are more interesting, more attractive. I laughed because I thought it was a bad joke, but she was completely serious. I said, "Jessica, what the hell? Why would you say something like that?" And she shrugged and said, "Just telling the truth. Don't get offended. Don't get offended." As if she'd just told me the sky is blue and not that basically. I was worthless to her. I asked her if she really thought that, and she said yes, that there were many men better than me, but that for now she was fine staying with me. For now. Can you believe it? I was paying for literally everything, giving her a place to live for free, supporting her in school, and she was telling me I was replaceable and that there were better options out there. I got up and went to the kitchen because I felt like I was going to explode. I spent like an hour there alone trying to process it, thinking if maybe I was overreacting. But no, there was no way to misinterpret what she'd said. That night, I tried to talk to her again. I told her that her comment had hurt me a lot and that I needed to know if she really wanted to be with me or if she was just here for convenience. She got defensive immediately, told me I was too sensitive, that I couldn't take a joke. that she obviously loved me, but that it was true that there were more successful men out there. When I asked her directly if there was someone else, she looked at me and said, "No, but if there were, it's not like you're so special that I couldn't find someone better." That was the straw that broke the camel's back, you know. I told her we were done, right there, and that she had 2 weeks to find another place to live. She started crying, saying I was overreacting, that she hadn't said anything wrong, that she was just being honest, and I should appreciate that. Then she tried to change tactics and told me she loved me, that she didn't want to leave, that she'd made a mistake saying that. But I was fed up, completely fed up. I told her no, that this was over and that I needed her to leave my house. She got hysterical, screaming that I couldn't just kick her out like that she had rights, that she'd been living there a year. I told her we didn't have any contract, that it was my house, and that legally I could ask her to leave with 2 weeks' notice, that I was being generous, giving her time to get organized. The next few days were hell. Jessica alternated between begging me to forgive her and attacking me, telling me I was an idiot, that I was going to regret it, that she could get any man she wanted. I stood firm because every time I saw her, all I could hear was that comment about me being replaceable echoing in my head. She started packing her things but did it dramatically, crying all the time, leaving messages on my phone like 10-minute novels where she told me I was her world and I was making the biggest mistake of my life. And then, like a week after we broke up, I got a message from Melissa. Melissa was Jessica's friend, but I knew her too, because we'd hang out in groups sometimes. She texted me saying she needed to talk to me about something important. And we agreed to meet at a coffee shop the next day. And when I arrived, she looked super uncomfortable. She said, "Daniel, I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, but I think you deserve to know. Jessica was cheating on you. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach." I asked her how she knew, and she told me that Jessica had been seeing a guy named Ryan for the last 4 months, that all her friends knew, and that Melissa couldn't stay quiet anymore because she thought I was a good person and didn't deserve that. 4 months. 4 months. She'd been cheating on me under my own roof while I paid for everything. I asked Melissa if she was sure, and she said yes. That Jessica had even shown them pictures with him, that she'd go out with him all those nights she supposedly went out with her friends. She told me Ryan was like a manager at some company, that he had money, that Jessica was obsessed with him, and that basically I was just her plan B, the safe place to live while she played around. I felt sick, literally sick. I thanked Melissa for telling me and left there on autopilot. When I got home, Jessica was still there, packing her stuff. I confronted her, told her I knew everything about Ryan and that she was a liar and a cheater. I expected her to deny it, but no. She went pale and then tried to justify herself. She told me Ryan offered her things I couldn't give her, that he was more successful, more interesting, that with him she felt valued. Valued? I yelled at her that I had given her everything, a place to live, food, money, support, and she'd been cheating on me all that time. She told me I was boring, that our relationship had become monotonous, that Ryan made her feel special. I told her to get out of my house immediately, that I didn't care where she went, but she wasn't spending one more night under my roof. She left crying that night, taking only what she could carry, and honestly, I didn't care. I changed the locks the next day and blocked her everywhere. But it didn't end there. Jessica started showing up at my house with friends, ringing the doorbell at all hours, yelling for me to open the door, that she needed the rest of her things. I called the police twice because she was harassing me. I sent her a message saying she could come one time, with a police officer present, to pick up what she was missing, and that after that I never wanted to see her again. Then, the smear campaign started. Jessica began telling all our mutual acquaintances that I was controlling, that I'd kicked her out for no reason, that I was an emotional abuser. Fortunately, most people didn't believe her because Amanda, another mutual friend, had heard Melissa's version and told everyone the truth. But still there were people who swallowed Jessica's lies and stopped talking to me. I didn't care much, honestly, because I realized that if they believed me capable of those things without even asking for my side, then they weren't really my friends. And here's where things get interesting, like karma at its finest. I found out from Kevin, a mutual friend who still talked to me, that Ryan had broken up with Jessica like 2 weeks after she left my house. Want to know why? because Ryan didn't know Jessica had been living with me. She'd told him she lived with her parents or something. When he found out she'd been living with her boyfriend for free while seeing him, he told her she was manipulative and a user and sent her to hell. Just like that, the guy who, according to her, was so superior to me, who made her feel so special, dumped her as soon as he knew the truth. Jessica tried staying with various friends, but none of them put up with her for more than a few weeks, because apparently she had the same habits she had with me. Didn't pay for anything, didn't clean, didn't contribute anything, and spent all her time going out and spending money she didn't have. One by one, they kicked her out. Kevin would tell me everything, because honestly, he was fed up with her too. She said she'd become unbearable, that she only complained that everyone had betrayed her and no one understood her. I also found out her grades tanked. Jessica stopped going to classes, didn't turn in assignments, and failed like 3 courses that semester. She had to repeat them and pay for them herself because her parents refused to keep financing her school after finding out about all the drama and that she'd been lying to them too. Apparently, she'd told them she was still with me and everything was fine. Like 2 months after we broke up, I got an email from Jessica. A long, super dramatic email where she apologized for everything, said she'd made the worst mistake of her life, that I was the only one who'd really loved and supported her, that Ryan was a jerk who'd only used her, that her friends were fake, basically that her whole life was a disaster and she needed me back. She begged me to forgive her, to give her another chance, that she'd changed and now understood my value. I read it and deleted it without responding. There wasn't a single part of me that wanted to get back with her. Meanwhile, my life was improving incredibly. Like a month after Jessica left, I got a promotion at work with a 40% raise. Suddenly, I had way more money because I wasn't supporting someone else anymore and could spend it on me, on things I wanted to do. I took 2 weeks vacation and went to Costa Rica with Austin, my best friend. It was amazing. Like, exactly what I needed to clear my head and realize I'd been living to please Jessica and had forgotten to live for myself. Jessica tried using Austin to get to me. She'd send him messages asking about me, telling him to tell me she missed me. Austin blocked her too after telling her to leave me alone. She tried the same thing with other friends, but no one paid attention to her. I also found out from Kevin that she tried reconnecting with Ryan, but he completely rejected her, told her he didn't want to know anything about her and to stop harassing him. I started dating someone new like 3 months ago. Her name is Sophie. She's 27. She's a veterinarian. And honestly, she's everything Jessica wasn't. She's independent, pays for her stuff, has her own interests and friends, respects me, values me, and would never make me feel like I was replaceable or that there are better options out there. With her, I realized how toxic my relationship with Jessica had been. Like, it's not normal for your partner to constantly make you feel bad about yourself or tell you you're not enough. Kevin told me like a month ago that Jessica finally found an apartment, but it's super small and in a kind of sketchy area. And she barely has enough to pay for it because she also has to pay for her classes and her debts. Apparently, she's still trying to contact Ryan on social media, but he has her blocked everywhere. He also told me Jessica tells everyone that I ruined her life, that it's my fault she lost Ryan and lost her stability, as if I'd been the one who cheated and betrayed her. They offered me a leadership position at work for next quarter. I'm considering adopting a dog because now I have time to take care of one. I started going to the gym and signed up for Italian cooking classes I'd always wanted to take, but Jessica said were a waste of time. My life has literally improved in every aspect since she left, and every time I think about how she'd tell me I was replaceable, I laugh because in the end, the one who turned out to be completely replaceable was her. Sophie came over last weekend and we cooked together, watched movies, and at no point did I feel like I had to prove my worth or show I was enough. She just accepts me as I am, and I accept her as she is. Simple as that. While we were cleaning the kitchen, she told me, "You know, I really like being here with you. I feel like I can be myself." And I thought about Jessica telling me there were thousands of men better than me, and I realized no, the problem was never me. The problem was always her, and her inability to value what she had. I don't know what will become of Jessica, honestly. And honestly, I don't care anymore. I blocked her last email without reading it like 2 weeks ago. My life is in such a good place now that looking back would just be a waste of energy. Sometimes I wonder if she'll ever understand that she caused all this herself. that if she'd been honest and decent, none of this would have happened, but I guess people like that never learn. They'd rather blame everyone else than look in the mirror and accept they were the problem. The only thing I know is we broke up almost 6 months ago, and my life hasn't stopped improving since then, while hers apparently keeps spiraling down, and if that's not karma, then I don't know what is.